Yogi Clan, welcome back to Yogi Cycle Service. As you can see today, we have another customer bike in the garage. He called me a couple weeks ago and said, Yogi, I got a problem. When I get up into high double digits on the highway, I start getting a back end wobble. I said, well man, your bike's 11 years old. Probably where I would start would be changing out a motor mount if you're getting a wobble. You know, they only cost about 24, 25 bucks. Why don't we swap that out first? Go ahead, buy one, bring it over to the house, and let's swap out the motor mount and see if that corrects the problem. So he bought a motor mount, brought the bike over to the garage, and today we're going to go ahead and swap out this motor mount and show you how I go ahead and take care of this. If you have any questions about how to do it, feel free to shoot me a message, and my contact information is at the end of this video. Feel free to shoot me an email. But why don't we go ahead and get started with pulling this motor mount off. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your bike up on the jack. The motor mount is on the front. It's right behind the wheel. I'm sorry it's a little tough to try to get a good camera angle, so bear with me. And there you can see I got the new motor mount from Drag Specialties. They make a good quality motor mount that we're going to use today. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the voltage regulator off the front of the bike. There's two nuts, one on either side. Remove those. You can pull the voltage regulator off. From there is your center bolt that runs down through the motor mount from the connecting plate. I'm going to use a breaker bar to get that loose, and then once you get it loose, you can take a ratchet and remove that center bolt out. On either side of the rubber motor mount, there are two bolts that mount that motor mount to the frame. Loosen up and remove both of those bolts. Here you can see after I have those bolts out, I'm using a hammer to tap on it to try to get that plate work loose. From there, I'm going to take the bike and put it on a different jack, and this jack I'm going to center it up and make sure the jack is not on your frame, resting on your frame, and I'm going to push that motor up. I'm going to take a bungee and bungee up that voltage regulator and get it out of the way. I'm also going to loosen up. There are two bolts on the rear of the plate that mounts to the motor mount. I'm going to loosen those up and make sure I'm not going to take the bolts out. I'm just going to loosen them up. All other bolts I'm going to remove. Once you have the bike jacked up, you can pull the motor mount out, put the new motor mount in, and then lower the bike back down off the jack and put the regular jack back underneath it. With the regular jack back underneath, I'm going to go ahead and put two bolts into the motor mount itself to mount the bolts to the frame, but I'm not going to tighten those down all the way. I'm going to keep them still somewhat loose so we have flexibility to move it around. Then I'm going to put the center bolt down through the middle, mounting the bracket to the actual rubber motor mount itself, and that I'm also going to keep loose so there's flexibility and movement. And then I'm going to go into the top where the two bolts are on the top of the motor mount and tighten that down and get those tightened down to torque. Then I'm going to come back to the front three bolts on the bottom. I'm going to tighten the two on the outside first to center up that motor mount, and then I'm going to tighten the one that goes down through the middle to secure the engine to the motor mount. And from that point, you're pretty much done. It's really that simple. It just takes, a little bit of time, a little bit of elbow grease. I definitely would say that this job is doable with one person, but it sure helps to have two. Thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.